Let's do it. We're starting with episode 8, and this was the most emotional I believe I have ever gotten over Star Wars, Mac.
Boom.
Like not happy like I usually do. Like I usually feel like a lot of happy emotion. I got super emotional with Luke Skywalker. I didn't cry. I was just like, I couldn't feel my face or my hands or my feet anymore. It was the swelling of hope. But this episode, I feel like truly moved me. Grew my empathy.
Yeah, I think I understand what you mean. It's like this is art. Like
no. Yes.
I know, like Star Wars is like all Star Wars is art. There's so much art that goes into everything. But like this is one of those things that truly feels like a statement about humanity that is important, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that doesn't come along every day, I don't think.
No, it does not. So yeah, this episode to me is so important. It's one of those that will linger with me for a very long time, that when I think of Andor, I'll think of this episode.
Yeah.
This is the episode that I think will stand out in my mind. Of course, we haven't seen the next 3. I don't know what's going to happen in those. But, man, this one will linger with me for a very long time. This entire arc will. I also want to say the music in this episode, especially during the recap, felt like Hans Zimmer Batman.
Yep.
There's a lot of Hans Zimmer feeling music in this particular episode.
Yeah, a lot of those big swelling pads and stuff underneath everything, and the big the string swells and all that. Yeah, for sure.
So we start this episode over Ghorman, and we get a beautiful overhead shot of Palmo as alarms ring out across the city. Inside his room, Cassian assembles his sniper, and out in the plaza, the Imperials are moving barricades to block every entrance and exit in the plaza. All while Captain Kaido inspects it, and as does Cassian, and he goes back to contact Will on his comms, and Will is confused what Cassian is talking about. He's like, what are you talking about, barricades? He doesn't know what he's talking about. And the Ghorman front come down and announce that they're opening the plaza, though Cassian says that they're doing the exact opposite. So here's where that manipulation begins. Someone from the Imperial side has told all of Palmo, you can come to the plaza again.
Yeah.
But Cassian is saying they are closing off everything.
Yeah. They're just creating a big like bottleneck.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, it turns into a slaughterhouse.
Right. And that's on purpose. Everything they do right here is exactly on purpose. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. And Cassian is starting to get worried. He's not going to be able to get a shot off, obviously, with everything that's going on in the plaza. And he realizes that they're actually building a fortress, that this is like a siege that they're preparing for. So then we cut to the safe room, and Dedra tells Partagaz that they are already moving mining equipment. She's not the biggest fan of Kaido, but Partagaz knows what he's doing. And once again, Dedra seems a little hesitant about following through with the plan.
Yeah, I wish we got a little more insight into just what she was feeling. We really only have like facial expressions and mannerisms to go by on Dedra and what she's going through internally. But I definitely get the sense that she's having a lot of second thoughts. It's either just a big step and she's just nervous about that. She could be nervous about this is the end of the assignment and she doesn't know what comes after that. Or she could be actually having second thoughts from a moral and ethical standpoint of like, am I really going to have all of these lives on my hands? You know, all that blood on my hands. Do I want that? Can I go through with this?
Yeah. Or maybe she's just nervous she won't be able to pull it off, or something's going to go wrong.
Right. That's also true. The stakes could just be that, like, if it goes wrong, it's her hide.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just don't know. I wish we got a little more. I wish she could have a conversation with a character she trusted or something like that this episode.
You know what I would like, Mac? And this is something that I've wished for a long time. I would love if Star Wars novels adapted stuff like this and told the story from a particular character's perspective, like even if it were first person point of view or something. It's just a retelling, but from their perspective. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, the like from a certain point of view books. That's been such a gift that those have given us is the insight into some side characters and stuff. Just to know what's going on internally a little bit. I wish we'd get like, this is just what Dedra did. Here's a novel of it, of what she did the entire time during Andor.
I do think that there's going to be plenty of novels that happen in the in-between in this season of the years, right? You could do a whole series of things.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll fill in a lot of those gaps, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Alexander Freed, please write them. Please. In the catacombs, the Ghorman front arm themselves. Sorry, you're.
It was so nice. I was like, that'd be good.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Yes. In the catacombs, the Ghorman front arm themselves, and then in the plaza, the reporters continued the sensationalizing of the issue, just fanning the flames, really. And on Coruscant, Edie is watching this, right? We know that she's a big fan of Imperial News, and she's watching it all. And then in his apartment, Syril is greeted at his door, and he's ordered to the IOC building. We cut to the streets, and the Ghorman front blow horns and begin marching towards the plaza while Rylands watches what they're doing. Enza comes to get him, but Rylands realizes the truth. It's a trap.
Yeah.
They want them to fight, and Enza says that they can't be silent anymore, and he goes on to say, "You'll be silent when you're dead." He says that before running off in terror. Like he can't believe what's about to happen because he sees it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a scary thing to see coming down the pipe at you. Like seeing that, this is about to get bad.
Bad. Really bad. And more people are marching towards the plaza as they begin chanting, "We are the Ghor. The galaxy is watching. We are the Ghor. The galaxy is watching." Yeah. Syril.
Season 2 of Andor. The world is watching.
That's right.
Season 2 of Andor. The world is watching.
Syril walks among the crowd as Rylands urges them to all turn back, and then Rylands spots Syril and confronts him. Syril slams him against the wall, and Rylands realizes that they were played by him. Syril tries telling him he meant no harm, and then he says that he's there to trap the outside agitators. Rylands knows what they are doing. They know about the mining equipment. And then he says, "What kind of being are you?" And I think that just sets Syril off, right? Because I think he's, like we talked about last episode, he's struggling with, he has no purpose anymore. Yeah. And now someone's questioning, like, what are you? Like, you don't even, and this is a question he actually gets asked later, and it does not go well for him. Yeah. But like, basically, anytime he's questioned, he doesn't really know how to respond to that, except in anger.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just comes from, he doesn't have any of that foundation of self, you know?
Right.
He's always found validation in
Uncle Harlow.
Yeah, Uncle Harlow, or like relationships or careers or whatever.
Yeah. 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 So Syril is angry. He throws Rylands to the ground, and then we cut to the command HQ where Kaido and Dedra discuss how the day will go, and he goes on to say that he's the trigger supervisor, but she's the trigger. Like,
yeah,
this isn't on me. I'll get it done, but you got to make the call. So
he says he's the trigger, she's the finger, like the finger that pulls the trigger.
Right. So. Right. So in the hotel lobby, Cassian gives the attendant his key, and the attendant assures him not to worry. He never logged a stay. And after that moment, Cassian says, "Hey, I hope things work out for you." And then my guy says
it.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Boom. Boom.
Let's go.
Like, it's the whole point of everything we're doing here. Ultimately all of this culminates in Jyn Erso, and Cassian in Rogue One. So
yeah, and so like I got instant chills when he said that, Mac. Like my whole body just goosebumps all over. I was like, oh my God, is that where it came from? Is that the origin, or is that just like a happy coincidence that like when Cassian hears it in Rogue One, he thinks back to this moment of
Right.
that guy said it too.
Like, oh.
It's like something outside of myself is telling me something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's more the case. I think it's like, oh, it's like these passphrases that they keep using with each other. You know, like I have friends everywhere or whatever. Like it's like one of those passcodes, but that the Force is using as a code word, as a code word to be like, hey, gotcha. Like you're good.
You got to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cassian takes his words in and leaves to the plaza, and it's filling up fast, Mac. And the music just adds to this overall sense of dread.
Yeah.
Like there is this, it felt like the episode The Bells with Game of Thrones, that sense of dread when things just do not go well for King's Landing. It felt very similar to that.
Very similar. Yeah, the music is great until it is not there. They drop out all the music at a certain point when things pop off, and that is to amazing effect. You're just left with the sounds of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just know that this won't end well. And as Cassian surveys everything, Syril passes right beside him, and I literally gasped. I was like, they just walk by each other. They hate each other. Oh my God.
Yeah,
but they didn't see each other. Yeah,
it's
so
a
good.
fated meeting, you know. It is like they're back in the same place at the same time.
They're two opposites.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times through the series already.
Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Cassian looks for the exits and then looks back down into the plaza, and the Ghorman front begin meeting up in the plaza. They're finding each other, kind of meeting towards the fountain area. And Cassian tries connecting with Will over the comms, but they can't hear each other. And then he spots Dedra overlooking the plaza from the terrace. As Syril gets closer to the building, a tie flies overhead, which is just another kind of like,
It's just like it's a psychological weapon.
Yes,
the Empire employs. It's purposely to like be like, remember, we're flying above you. We can drop a bomb on you at any point.
Yeah. Right.
It's sinister.
Yeah. Syril gets through the barricade as the news reporter says that the local insurgents spread rumors through the night and have organized this highly volatile insurrection you see behind me. Syril is almost amazed at that before he heads in. He kind of like just looks, because he knows that's not the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think he's starting to realize like everything he's ever believed in is a lie. Literally everything about his life is fake. It's a lie.
His career, he's not been doing what he thought he was doing the whole time. His relationship with Dedra, that's all a lie. Yeah, he's lost.
Yeah, totally lost. And he demands to go upstairs, and they make him pause for a moment, and then they take him to a side room. Inside are KX droids, and they turn and look at him as he goes to wait with what I presume are the other Imperial family members. And one of them won't stop staring at him. And I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable myself when I see that.
Yeah. I'm like, stop making eye contact with the camera.
That's got to be K2, right? That was K2.
That's the one that turns into K2. Yeah. But terrifying before. All the KX droids are terrifying in this.
Yes, they are. Oh my gosh. We'll get to it. But in the plaza, smoke is rising as more and more people fill the entire area. Kaido exits and orders them to close all the exits immediately. And then Cassian continues to scout the area, but then people begin screaming and my stomach dropped. Anytime I hear screaming like that, I don't know if it's just because growing up in the years that we did, we've seen a lot of things on TV that we probably shouldn't when we were children. and so like, I don't know, there was just something like in my gut that was like, oh God, this is not good. And then marching down the steps are Imperial stormtroopers. Yeah. There's no way out now. And Kaido re-enters the building And then Will leaves Drina, his girlfriend, to go find Cassian in this mess. And I'm sweating bullets, Mac. I'm like, oh my, I don't like this. This is not going to be good.
No, you're seeing exactly what's going to happen, and it's like a train wreck. You can't do anything about it. You can't even look away.
No. Inside, Kaido demands the sergeant take his men out into the crowd to clear a path, but we all know what they're actually trying to do. And the sergeant realizes that too. He kind of looks at it, he's like, are you serious? You really want me to go out there?
And they've intentionally got this squad of inexperienced. This is like the first day on the job for a lot of these cadet type guys, right? So they're intentionally putting an inexperienced squad in the most volatile situation imaginable. So it's supposed to go the way it does.
Yeah, and some Gore outside are breaking up rocks with their canes, to throw the rocks when it comes time. Others are passing out Molotov cocktails, which always a go-getter when it comes to riots, right?
That is the drink of choice at this kind of party.
Yeah, that's nice. Lazine takes off his hat and begins singing. Those around him hear him and slowly begin to join them. Do you hear the people
that was
the song of angry? This is that scene.
It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. Not just the beating of the drum. It is the.
Were you a theater boy too?
I was theater adjacent.
You were like doing the tech stuff.
No, I would like play drums for the chorus department or the theater department, and a lot of my friends were in the theater department and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then chorus and theater were also under the same teacher at my school.
Gotcha.
So it was all a
same thing.
Yeah. So I was very like I was never on stage in musicals or plays or anything, but
I was in Footloose.
Nice.
I was in Footloose, and I was also in Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
In my high school years, and I was Lumiere. Be Our Guest.
Oh,
that's my song. Yeah.
That makes perfect sense for you, I think.
Yeah, it was fun. I did so much thrusting that my director was like, "You need to tone it down. There's children."
Tone down the pelvis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave you the Elvis treatment. All right, you got to only film this candlestick from the waist up. You can't.
I was really getting into it. So they start singing. It is 100% that same scene from Les Mis. And the soldiers enter the plaza as every single Gore now are joining in on the song. Yeah. And Cassian catches Dedra in his scope. But Syril enters the room and she's drawn away, and she orders everyone to leave. She shouldn't have done that.
Nope.
Syril wants to know what they're doing there, and he's starting to get really, really mad. And Dedra is still being cagey, and then Syril breaks. And this shocked me. He scares Dedra. And
yeah.
I think the thing that truly shocks me is that she seems truly afraid of him, kind of making me wonder, like, if this isn't the first time he's laid hands on her. Like, this is something that maybe has been happening.
Yeah, it looks like there's like a difference between a paralyzed, surprised fear and like a known, practiced fear.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It almost seemed like the known, practiced fear. Even if it's just like she had caught glimpses of this
his true
aspect
anger.
of his personality or whatever. And maybe this is the first time she's seeing the full brunt of it.
And it's such a power dynamic shift because she's always the one in charge, it seems, so far in the relationship. And now it is directly the opposite in this scene.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah, and it's definitely coming from Syril's like desire for, but total lack of power or authority and stuff. And then
he obviously
Dedra
has a problem with women. We've known that since season 1, like the very early.
Yeah, it's there. And I think seeing Dedra using him, but also just succeeding in the thing that he thought he had that he now knows he doesn't. His purpose and direction and everything. I think seeing Dedra succeed in that he can't take when he has lost it.
Yeah. And so he grabs her shoulders, squeezing her, demanding that she tell him what is going on. Syril then says that there's an armada up there, and he's mad that they couldn't even wait. And then he begins choking her. And I was so shocked, Mac, but I also wasn't, because I've kind of been predicting like, oh, he's going to end up killing his mom and wearing her clothes one day. He's Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's scary. It's a terrifying moment. Makes like anytime that I feel bad for Dedra, it's rough, because Dedra's the worst.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
But Syril is the worster.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not pretty at all. And he says, you tell me it's a rumor, I'm going to throw you out that window. And I think that the real Syril is coming out. This is the one that he is buried, but we've always sensed like there's just not something right about him. And we're seeing it. And she admits to everything. Syril lets go, betrayed. And he realizes that she's played and used him. And she goes on to say, you didn't seem to mind the promotions. Like you were fine with this. You were getting everything out of this that you wanted. And then Syril says, good luck, and then leaves very, very quickly.
Yeah. And that's both like good luck with this particular situation and also good luck in life. I think.
We're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also like,
seems like they should be. Seems like
Dedra, you don't need to go back to this guy.
No.
I'm not a huge fan of you, but the way he's treating you, not okay.
Not cool. Syril needs to go sit alone in a room for a couple of years. Give him a nice little task for 2 years and just don't let him talk to anybody else.
Or what happens later in the episode is what needs to happen, and he gets it. Yeah, so in the plaza, the singing continues, and the soldiers move out into the crowd with their riot shields. Syril runs out of the building into the crowd. I'm guessing he really did want to help the Ghorman front. I'm not really sure what his plan is right here.
Yeah, that is one thing. I need some clarification on Syril. Like, I know that we're not going to get anything further from him narratively after this. However, I need everything that was going on with Syril to end up meaning something to the story overall,
All the clues are there that he actually was trying to support the Ghorman front.
Yeah.
I think he actually had been kind of semi-turned a little bit. That's the only thing that makes sense here to me. Dedra orders her aide to find Syril and not let him leave the building when she's informed that Partagaz is on the line. Then we see Syril seeing Enza and the others as he continues to merge deeper and deeper into the crowd. And then we see Cassian and Will try to find each other on the comms, but things are starting to get tense with the soldiers, and people start pushing them and throwing rocks at the soldiers, and that's not good.
No.
Anytime that starts happening, things are about to pop off. And these lingering shots on the stormtroopers, they've never looked so scary to me.
Yeah, stormtroopers actually seem menacing in this. Yeah. I think it's because we don't see them a lot. We're seeing a lot of other types of Imperial soldiers more often, and then the stormtroopers are brought in when stuff's really getting crazy.
Right.
So yeah, they even feel more menacing in this.
They do. And then Dedra then gets off the line with Partagaz and tells Kaido to proceed. He orders a sniper on the roof to aim for one of their own soldiers, and then he fires at him. And once the body hits the ground, the Ghorman massacre begins. And from here on out, Mac, I forgot to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, everything is happening so fast. It is just like the shock of it finally, that first shot that's starting everything off. Kind of the shot heard around the world, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some parallels here to the Boston Massacre and stuff.
Sure.
But it, I think this is a
Much
scale that's unmatched by anything like that. There's plenty of real world events and stuff that parallel this, but it is just a sequence for the ages.
Oh my gosh. This is we'll talk about it. My stomach dropped as soon as they started exchanging fire, and when the stormtroopers engaged, the Ghorman front began firing back, and people try to run for cover, but everyone is boxed in. Syril walks through the crowd completely stunned, like he is just out of it, and the sniper continues to take out targets from the roof, and he's doing it to completely innocent people just trying to hide. Yep. He's taking them out.
Just kind of at will, just
whoever he sees and can get a shot off at. And then Will holds his own in the center of the plaza, and then they start throwing the Molotov cocktails inside. That sick guy Kaido is smiling because this is what he wanted. This is exactly what they had planned for. And when a stormtrooper gets close to Cassian, he takes him out. More and more Ghorman front members are dying. Inside the hotel, the attendant orders people away from the door. And then the Ghorman front try to make a charge towards the building, but they're outgunned. And then Dedra is informed that Syril is out there and goes to the terrace, and Cassian almost catches her before she rushes back in. Then Kaido orders the KX droids into the plaza. And you want to talk about terrifying?
Yes.
Yikes.
It's the KX droids in this episode. I know they didn't change the design at all from what we've seen before, but this is a completely different kind of droid in the way that it's like, I don't know if it's just the context in which it's being deployed or what we're seeing them do, but like watching them walk through flames Terminator style and then just throw people across the plaza is... And like having to see close-ups of the people when they land and stuff.
Yeah.
It's rough, brutal. Man. These things are scary.
They're so scary. And imagine the fear that people still have droids because of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. And I get that. I think that this is kind of the first time that the KX droids have been employed like this, right?
Feels like that.
We previously have seen them doing stuff like on Nymos.
Right.
Because one like kind of arrested Cassian and stuff like that, but it's much more civil security
police
type
work
thinking. Yeah, this is like full on
go kill everyone you can
Terminator mode. Like, oof.
Yeah, and a year later from this event, they'll be deployed on Mandalore to take care of the Mandalorian. So KX droids can hold their own, right? Like this. Yeah. If Mandalorians have a tough time with them in A Night of a Thousand Tears, they're a force to be reckoned with.
They're formidable.
Yeah. And so one of them kicks the barricade, crushing several people in the process. Enzo tries to get away from one when it picks her up and tosses her across the plaza, breaking her back, and you hear it. And Syril is still frozen in the center of it all. And I think what happens is that he is taken back to Ferrix in episode 3 of season 1.
Yeah.
It's that same disassociative trance as people are just being slaughtered all around him. It's like he can't process it. He can't actually understand what's going on. He just kind of checks out.
Yeah. Just it's the fight, flight, or freeze. He chose freeze.
He does that every single time. And just when you think that he might start to help the Ghorman front, because he's kind of like looking around and he sees some of the members of the Ghorman front, and you're starting to think as an audience member, is he about to go help them? But then we cut to the attendant inside the hotel as he tosses a bomb towards the closed entrance, and it explodes and it kills several stormtroopers, and it ends up distracting Cassian from getting his shot off at Dedra. And it's such a huge moment, like to see all those bodies just blow up and go everywhere. It's like I never thought I would see anything like this in Star Wars.
No, it's wild. Just the scale of the production. There are so many bodies on this set.
How fun would it have been to be an extra on the scene?
Just to be running in fear,
Yeah.
in fake fear all day. That'd be great.
Lucasfilm, if you're listening, you got any more scenes like this coming up? Please get your boys to. We will lay on the ground for hours a day. I don't care. It'd be fun, dude. I think this would be so fun. But Syril is seeming like he's going to do something, but then he sees Cassian and he completely snaps because I think to him, he's the source of everything that's wrong.
Yep.
Like he has like, there's one thing that he never had a chance to do, and that's to bring Cassian to justice. And in his mind, that's his last purpose. Is like, I can at least get this guy.
Yeah. It's like my life went wrong when it intersected with you. And so I'm pinning everything bad that's ever happened to me on you in this moment.
Yeah, and so he rushes towards him and unknowingly saves Dedra as he tackles him into the cafe. And what follows is an absolutely brutal fight. Syril is a man full of pent-up rage and aggression, and he is finally letting it out.
Yeah, he can throw hands. He can scrap.
Surprisingly, I was like, Cassian better watch out. And here's the credit to the director, because I know Cassian's going to make it out of this okay. I didn't feel that in this scene.
Yeah, I didn't know how that was going to happen. Because I had the same thought. I'm like, I know that Cassian lives, but how? Because
Syril
seems like it's not going that way right now.
No. And Cassian manages to smash a glass across his head to escape, but Syril picks up a chair and just slams it right into his back.
Give him the chair. Give him the chair.
Yeah, and the two go back and forth, trading blows, and just as Cassian is getting the upper hand, a thermal detonator goes off and knocks them both to the ground. And you think Syril might be dead in this scene.
Yeah.
And when Cassian tries to go for his fallen blaster, but then incoming fire forces Cassian to take cover, and oh no. Then you realize Syril has the blaster, and he raises it right at Cassian, and Cassian asks, "Who are you?" Which is the worst thing you could ask Syril, because it's a direct reminder that he isn't anyone worthy of being known.
Yeah. And it's like he's just made Andor the most significant person to him, and he doesn't even know who he is.
Yeah. Which I think is a beautiful and really kind of a tragic ending for his character.
Yeah.
Of this is a guy looking for purpose in all the wrong places. And I think he's a warning to us as audience of like, don't be Syril. You know, honestly, well, let me get through what happens to him. He begins to lower the blaster, and a bolt catches him in the head, and Syril Karn dies a meaningless death in a shattered and destroyed cafe. And you see Rylands is holding the blaster. And I want to say, like, I feel like the warning is, don't put your faith in the things that don't matter.
Yeah.
Or you feel like is going to give you purpose and drive, and you're trying to impress all these people. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you there. It's like, you know, trying to find, you have to have a foundation for yourself and operate from your foundation in everything you do. If you don't have that foundation, you're looking to justify your existence by like your achievement in your career, your status in society, your relationships, fulfilling expectations of the relationships you have and stuff like that. You know, so he's caught up in his jobs. He's caught up in what his mom thinks of him and expects of him. And, you know, in transactional relationships and, with Dedra, it's super like, you know, that relationship is based on like, I'm doing this for you, so you're doing this for me kind of deal.
Yeah,
and
transactional.
So if you don't have that foundation, even if you're striving for greatness your whole life, you're going to end up making nothing of it, you know?
Yeah, and as Will comes to take Cassian away, he finally finds him. I can't help but feel sorry for Syril in a way of like,
yeah,
there's a guy that had potential, so much potential.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel sorry for him in that, like, oh, poor Syril, the world was out to get him or anything, because it's all his own doing.
100%.
But just the tragedy of that,
Yes.
of him getting caught up
He's a tragic
in that,
character.
and knowing that, like, knowing people who have gotten caught up of the, like, in this kind of thing in my life, or
You could almost compare him to Kylo Ren in a way of like, Kylo finally saw the light and realized what was important. Syril never did.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Above, Dedra watches what she's done. The Ghor have found a way out of the plaza. Thankfully, Will realizes Drina is still back there, and he's going to go get her, but Cassian tries to convince him not to. And as they argue, a scream wells up from the crowd. And again, I'm like, oh God, what's happening? A man flies into a nearby wall. Our boy K2 has arrived. This is
the one.
K2. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And as Cassian and Will run, as K2 chases them, and Cassian turns around and fires at him, but nothing is hurting him. And just at the last moment, a truck slams into him, bisecting him into two pieces. Yeah. Sam, the man who killed Cinta on accident last week, is Cassian's savior, which is just like, well, who knew?
Yeah, and that's an important kind of redemption for him. I think it shows like, hey, even if you mess up in the biggest fashion. Like, I think he took Vel's words to heart, and I think he is trying to basically make up for what he did, because he's really putting himself out there in this situation to help others. So,
yeah. And so Will says that he can't leave Drina behind and asks Cassian to tell the story of what happened there. And before they leave, Cassian asks if they could get their help for loading K2 up into the hover truck. And this is the scene that broke me, Mac. As Cassian drives away, Drina speaks on the radio pleading for help. And man, I just got like cold chills from this entire scene. They just want help from anyone.
Anybody.
And now they expect, and she goes on to say, now they expect us to die without knowing why. And then her transmission gets cut off by an explosion. And just that whole sequence, I think the tension had been rising to that point, and just to hear her performance in like the way she delivers that, I was just like, oh God, like, cause I put myself on Ghorman in that moment, and just like the helplessness of the situation.
Because like you're just stuck. Your home is burning around you. You're watching people you grew up with and interact with every day just get gunned down. Like it's just help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. You know, it's that same desperation.
It's a powerful scene, and Will reunites with Drina in the catacombs as Cassian drives away from the slaughter, and overhead Palmo ties circle the plaza like vultures.
Yeah.
In the safe room, Dedra breaks down. Even the seemingly cold-hearted cannot handle what happened, and you want to know why? It's because stuff like that isn't supposed to happen.
Yep. It's an unnatural state of being for anybody. Because like in order for this to happen, it was orchestrated. It was planned. It was set up, put in motion. And you know, I think you're seeing the immediate effects of what this is going to do to Dedra for the rest of her life. Yeah. And again, you do feel a little bit of sympathy for her. And I think that's just the magic of the performances that they have been given, like, because everybody in this show has been bringing it with the acting. And if this show doesn't at least get nominated for an Emmy, like, what are we doing? Like,
what are we doing?
Come on, it's gotta get something. And I don't even just mean like technical Emmys or anything like that.
I'm like, best
performance,
show, directing,
like, yeah.
acting, all of it. It's just absolutely powerhouse of an episode. And we end the episode on Coruscant as the news reports of what happened come in. But they're highlighting the Imperial deaths over the Ghorman deaths, and Edie watches in horror as her friends comfort her, and we end the episode, and it's just one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in Star Wars.
It's some of the most powerful filmmaking I've seen lately. It made me feel things. It delivered on everything that's been built up for years at this point. Actual years, and because like we've been talking about the Ghormans since season 1, and even before that, it was
Star Wars
kind of
Rebels,
in the zeitgeist of Star Wars. But it absolutely delivered. What a profound is the best word I have. Just because it's not even like this episode in particular is not a woo. That was a fun watch. It's like a where do I go from here? It affected me. So yeah, it's great stuff.